Picture this. You've always been the one who says yes, the one people turn to for help, advice, or support. You pride yourself on being understanding, patient and kind, a pillar of strength for those around you. But lately, something feels off. The very people you've gone out of your way to support seem to brush off your needs, overlook your efforts, or worse, act as though you owe them. It's confusing, isn't it? You've done nothing but offer kindness, yet the respect you hope to earn feels elusive. The realization stings. What if your kindness is being misinterpreted, not as strength or generosity, but as something weaker, less deliberate, a green light for others to disregard your value? The Stoics, masters of understanding human behavior, saw this trap centuries ago. They knew that kindness, when unaccompanied by self-respect and boundaries, could backfire. Marcus Aurelius taught, "It is in your power to maintain your integrity of mind. A kind heart is a strength, but without clear limits, it risks becoming a liability, allowing others to confuse your patience with passivity." This isn't about abandoning kindness or hardening yourself against the world. It's about wielding your generosity with intention, ensuring it reflects your worth rather than diminishes it. True kindness, the kind that earns respect, begins with knowing your value and refusing to compromise it. So ask yourself, is your kindness a beacon of strength, or have you unintentionally allowed it to dim your own light? This is where Stoic wisdom can help you reclaim control, offering the clarity to give without losing yourself in the process. Lesson 1. Kindness without self-respect breeds disregard. Kindness is a beautiful thing, a gift you extend to the world that can brighten someone's day, ease their burdens, or strengthen your relationships. But here's the hard truth. When kindness is not paired with self-respect, it can invite others to disregard you. This isn't because people are inherently unkind themselves, but because human nature often leads us to take for granted what seems endlessly available. If you give without boundaries, people may mistake your generosity for a lack of value in your time, energy, or presence. The Stoics were deeply aware of this paradox. Epictetus once said, "Know first who you are, and then adorn yourself accordingly." In other words, true kindness starts with knowing your own worth and ensuring that your actions reflect it. When you continuously put others first at your own expense, overcommitting, bending over backward to accommodate their needs, or ignoring your own feelings, you inadvertently signal to them that your needs don't matter. Over time, this can erode not only their respect for you, but also your respect for yourself. Imagine a scenario. You always agree to stay late at work to help a colleague, even when it cuts into your personal time. At first, they're grateful, but eventually they come to expect it. They stop saying thank you. Worse, they might even feel entitled to your help, as though it's no longer a choice, but a duty you owe them. This shift isn't entirely their fault. It's a reflection of the boundaries you've failed to set. Being kind doesn't mean being a doormat. Stoicism teaches that strength and compassion must coexist. When you give from a place of inner balance, your kindness has greater meaning and impact. The next time you're tempted to say yes when your heart says no, pause. Ask yourself, am I being kind out of strength, or am I afraid of disappointing someone? True kindness respects both the giver and the receiver. Lesson 2. Over-apologizing diminishes your value. Apologizing is an essential part of maintaining healthy relationships and taking responsibility for mistakes. But when you apologize excessively, especially for things that don't warrant it, you risk diminishing your own value in the eyes of others. Over-apologizing can create an unintended impression that you lack confidence, that you're overly dependent on others' approval, or worse, that you believe you're at fault, even when you're not. Stoicism teaches us to be deliberate in our words and actions, and that includes knowing when an apology is necessary and when it's not. Think about how often you say sorry during an average day. Do you apologize when someone bumps into you? Or when you express a perfectly reasonable opinion in a meeting? These unnecessary apologies don't make you seem kinder or more considerate. They signal insecurity. Over time, this can lead people to undervalue your contributions or dismiss your feelings as insignificant. The Stoics believed in the power of clarity and reason. Marcus Aurelius advised, "If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it." This principle applies to apologies as well. A genuine apology is rooted in truth. It acknowledges a mistake, seeks to repair harm, and strengthens relationships. But when you apologize for existing, for having boundaries, or for things outside your control, you dilute the meaning of your words. Instead of inspiring respect, over-apologizing can undermine your authority and self-respect. Picture a friend who constantly apologizes, even for things that don't require it. Over time, their apologies lose weight, don't they? Now consider how others might perceive you when you fall into this habit. Apologizing should be reserved for moments that truly call for accountability and repair. The next time you feel the impulse to say sorry, pause. Ask yourself, is this apology necessary? Will it improve the situation? Or am I apologizing out of habit or fear of conflict? True kindness isn't about erasing yourself or your needs to accommodate others. It's about showing up authentically, owning your actions, and speaking with confidence. Apologize when it matters, and let your words carry the weight of sincerity. Lesson 3. Saying yes to everyone leaves you empty. We've all been there. Someone asks for a favor, and before you even think it through, the word yes slips out. You tell yourself it's just one more thing, one more person to help, one more moment of your time, but then it happens again and again. Before long, you're stretched thin, juggling responsibilities that aren't even yours to bear, while your own priorities fall by the wayside. Stoicism warns us about this very trap, teaching that saying yes to everyone often means saying no to ourselves. Seneca once said, "If you don't know to which port you are sailing, no wind is favorable." This wisdom reminds us that without clarity of purpose, we're easily swayed by the demands of others. When you consistently say yes to everything, you're not just giving away your time, you're giving away control of your life. The result? Exhaustion, frustration, and a nagging sense that your efforts aren't appreciated. People may begin to assume your help is endless, not because they're ungrateful, but because you've conditioned them to expect it. Imagine a scenario. A friend asks for your help moving, a colleague needs assistance with their project, and a family member wants you to run an errand, all in the same week. You agree to it all, even though you're already overwhelmed. By the end of the week, you're drained, irritable, and behind on your own goals. Worse, no one seems to notice how much you've sacrificed. Why? Because you've never communicated your limits. Stoicism calls for balance, reminding us to align our actions with our values. Marcus Aurelius advised, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Learning to say no is not selfish. It's an act of self-preservation. It's about recognizing that your time and energy are finite resources, and that protecting them allows you to show up fully for the things and people that truly matter. The next time you're tempted to agree to something, pause. Ask yourself, does this align with my priorities? Will it bring me closer to my goals? Remember, a thoughtful no is far kinder than a resentful yes. Lesson 4. Seeking validation weakens your inner peace. We all crave validation. It feels good to be praised, acknowledged, or reassured that we're on the right path. But when you rely on external approval to define your worth, you hand over control of your inner peace to others. Stoic philosophy warns against this, teaching that true contentment comes not from the applause of the crowd, but from living in alignment with your principles. The moment you start chasing validation, you risk losing sight of who you are. Epictetus put it bluntly: if you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid. This isn't about embracing failure. It's about freeing yourself from the need to prove your worth to anyone but yourself. The Stoics understood that people's opinions are fleeting, shaped by their own biases and moods. When you build your self-esteem on their approval, you construct your foundation on shifting sands. Consider this. You post something on social media, share a project at work, or express an idea among friends. If no one responds enthusiastically, do you second-guess yourself? Do you feel deflated or question the value of what you offered? This reaction reveals how deeply external validation can affect us. But here's the truth. Validation is like sugar. It feels good in the moment, but it's not a lasting source of nourishment. Stoicism invites you to seek approval not from others, but from within. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." When you base your peace on living authentically and staying true to your values, you create a lasting sense of confidence that no one can take away. You stop needing others to affirm your worth because you've already done the work to affirm it yourself. The next time you catch yourself seeking validation, pause. Reflect on why it matters to you. Are you acting out of a need to impress, or because it aligns with who you are? When you let go of the need for external approval, you reclaim your power, and with it, a profound sense of freedom and peace. Lesson 5. Over-explaining yourself undermines your confidence. Have you ever caught yourself explaining and re-explaining your decisions, as if the people around you need a full breakdown of why you did something or how you feel? It might come from a good place, a desire to avoid misunderstandings, show respect, or win someone's approval. But over-explaining can have the opposite effect. Instead of clarity, it often signals insecurity, making people question your confidence and conviction. Stoicism reminds us that our actions and words don't need constant justification. They need to stem from self-assurance and purpose. Epictetus wisely advised, "Don't explain your philosophy, embody it." This lesson is about trusting yourself enough to stand by your choices without feeling compelled to defend every detail. Over-explaining usually arises from fear of being judged, misunderstood, or rejected. But in trying to micromanage how others perceive you, you end up giving away your power. The more you justify yourself, the more you invite doubt, not only in others' minds, but in your own. Think about it. If someone declines an invitation and immediately launches into a long, nervous explanation, doesn't it make you question their sincerity? Compare that to someone who simply says, "Thank you, but I can't make it." The second response feels more solid, doesn't it? It communicates confidence and a sense of boundaries, while the over-explained one can feel defensive or unsure. Stoicism teaches us to focus on what we can control, and how others interpret your actions is not one of those things. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Instead of over-explaining, trust that your decisions are valid and let them stand on their own. Speak with clarity and let your actions reflect your integrity. The next time you feel the urge to over-explain, pause. Ask yourself, am I doing this to provide clarity, or am I seeking reassurance? A simple, confident statement often speaks louder than a long-winded explanation. Trust yourself, and you'll find that others are more likely to trust and respect you in return. Lesson 6. Avoiding conflict erodes your true self. Many people equate kindness with avoiding conflict, believing that staying quiet or accommodating others will keep the peace. But over time, this habit doesn't lead to harmony. It leads to resentment, frustration, and a slow erosion of your authentic self. Stoic philosophy teaches that while avoiding unnecessary quarrels is wise, shying away from all conflict comes at the cost of your integrity and personal growth. Seneca put it plainly, "He who is brave is free." True bravery includes the willingness to face uncomfortable situations, to express your thoughts and feelings honestly, even when they might ruffle feathers. Avoiding conflict might feel easier in the moment, but every time you silence yourself to keep the peace, you send a message to others and to yourself that your voice doesn't matter. Over time, this can lead others to dismiss your perspective entirely, while you feel increasingly invisible in your own life. Imagine a team meeting where a colleague suggests an approach you know won't work. You stay silent, not wanting to seem confrontational. Later, when the project falters, you feel the sting of regret. You had the insight to prevent this, but didn't speak up. This scenario is all too common and illustrates why avoiding conflict can harm more than just your relationships. It can undermine your confidence and effectiveness. The Stoics believed in engaging with the world honestly and courageously. Marcus Aurelius advised, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." Avoiding conflict doesn't make you kind, it makes you passive. Genuine kindness includes the courage to address issues constructively, standing firm in your beliefs while respecting others' perspectives. The next time you're tempted to avoid conflict, pause. Ask yourself, is this silence serving the situation, or am I betraying my own values? Learning to engage in healthy, respectful conflict is a powerful way to strengthen relationships, build trust, and remain true to yourself. Kindness and honesty can coexist, and when they do, they create a foundation of mutual respect and authenticity that benefits everyone involved. Lesson 7. Saying, "I'm fine," when you're not creates distance. How often do you respond with "I'm fine" when someone asks how you're doing, even if it's far from the truth? It seems harmless, a way to avoid burdening others or diving into uncomfortable conversations. But each time you hide behind that phrase, you build a wall, not just between yourself and others, but within yourself. Stoicism, while emphasizing resilience, also teaches the importance of honesty and connection. Pretending everything is okay when it's not only deepens isolation and prevents others from understanding and supporting you. Epictetus urged, "We are not disturbed by things but by the views we take of them." When you dismiss your own struggles or keep your feelings bottled up, you deny yourself the chance to confront them and grow through them. The Stoics didn't advocate for complaining or wallowing. They believed in facing challenges with courage and clarity. But part of courage is admitting when you're not okay and seeking support when you need it. Imagine a friend who always says they're fine, even when it's obvious they're not. Over time, you might stop asking how they're doing, assuming they'll never open up. Now flip the scenario. When you consistently hide your true feelings, others may perceive you as distant or uninterested in deeper connection. The very people who care about you may feel shut out while you carry your burdens alone. Stoicism teaches that true strength isn't about appearing unshaken. It's about embracing the reality of your experience and finding wisdom within it. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Be like the rocky headland on which the waves constantly break. It stands firm, and around it the seething waters are laid to rest." Sharing your struggles doesn't make you weak. It shows that you're human and that you trust others enough to let them in. The next time you're tempted to say, "I'm fine," pause. Consider whether it's an opportunity to be honest, even in a small way. Sharing your truth, even with just one trusted person, can lighten your load and strengthen your relationships. In vulnerability, there is immense power, the kind that brings connection, healing, and real respect. Lesson 8. Giving too much without receiving leaves. You empty generosity is a virtue, but when you give endlessly without allowing yourself to receive, it becomes a drain on your energy, spirit, and sense of self-worth. Stoic philosophy emphasizes balance in all things, including relationships. Giving without limits, whether it's your time, energy, or resources, may seem noble, but it often leads to exhaustion and resentment. Worse, it teaches others to expect your sacrifice, without offering anything in return. Seneca wrote, "Nothing is more honorable than a grateful heart." This gratitude, however, must flow in both directions. When you consistently pour yourself out for others without replenishing your well, you deplete not only your emotional reserves, but also the strength that allows you to give meaningfully. Relationships are not meant to be one-sided. True connection thrives on mutual support, where both parties give and receive in a way that uplifts each other. Think about a time when you gave too much, a friendship where you were always the listener, the one offering help, or the one bending over backward to accommodate someone else's needs. At first, it might have felt good to be needed, but over time, you likely felt taken for granted, drained, or even unappreciated. That imbalance doesn't just harm you, it also creates a dynamic where others fail to learn the value of reciprocity. Stoicism encourages us to be mindful of our limits and to give with intention, not obligation. Marcus Aurelius advised, "Do not act as if you are going to live 10,000 years. Your days are numbered. Use them to fulfill your purpose." This means your time and energy are precious, and where you invest them should reflect both your values and your self-respect. The next time you're asked to give, pause. Ask yourself, is this coming from a place of genuine generosity, or am I giving out of guilt or habit? Are you leaving space for others to give back to you, or are you silently taking on more than your share? Remember, allowing yourself to receive is not selfish, it's essential. Only when you care for yourself can you continue to give to others in a way that truly matters. Lesson 9. Neglecting your own needs to please others leads to resentment. Putting others first is often seen as an admirable quality, but when it becomes a pattern of neglecting your own needs, it turns into self-sabotage. The Stoics understood the importance of balance, teaching that while helping others is virtuous, sacrificing your well-being to please everyone else ultimately harms both you and those you aim to serve. You can't pour from an empty cup, and ignoring your own needs in the name of kindness doesn't make you noble, it makes you resentful, exhausted, and disconnected from yourself. Epictetus warned, "Keep your will in harmony with nature." This means living in alignment with what nourishes and sustains you. When you constantly prioritize others' happiness over your own, you're out of harmony, creating a cycle where you give and give until there's nothing left for yourself. Over time, this self-neglect breeds quiet resentment, not just toward others, but toward yourself for allowing it to happen. Imagine saying yes to every demand from family, friends, or colleagues. You stay late at work to help a team member, skip your workout to drive someone to an appointment, and cancel plans you've looked forward to because someone else needs your time. In the moment, it may feel like the right thing to do, but deep down, you feel depleted and unfulfilled. You might even start to notice bitterness creeping in, not because others have taken too much, but because you've given too freely without honoring your own needs. Stoicism teaches that true kindness begins with self-respect. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Love the hand that fate deals you, but fight for the life you want." To live well, you must recognize that your needs matter just as much as anyone else's. When you care for yourself, you can give from a place of abundance rather than obligation. The next time you're tempted to put yourself last, pause. Ask yourself, am I doing this out of love, or am I afraid of disappointing someone? Meeting your own needs is not selfish, it's necessary. By honoring yourself, you set an example for others to do the same, fostering healthier and more balanced relationships. Lesson 10. Staying silent about your dreams stifles your growth. Dreams and aspirations are deeply personal, often guarded closely to protect them from scrutiny or judgment. While it's wise to share your goals selectively, staying completely silent about them can hold you back. Stoic philosophy emphasizes action and alignment with purpose, but when you bury your dreams to avoid vulnerability, you risk losing sight of them altogether. Sharing your vision with the right people creates accountability, builds connections, and fuels your motivation to pursue the life you truly desire. Epictetus taught, "First say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do." This means acknowledging your dreams openly, even if only to yourself, and taking deliberate steps toward them. When you refuse to speak about your goals, whether out of fear, self-doubt, or the desire to avoid criticism, you miss out on opportunities to grow. Worse, you allow your aspirations to remain intangible, existing only in the abstract, where they're easy to ignore. Imagine having a dream of starting your own business, writing a book, or pursuing a career change, but never telling anyone about it. You convince yourself that keeping quiet is safer. What if you fail? What if others mock your ambitions or don't believe in you? Over time, though, the silence becomes a barrier. Without external support or encouragement, it's easy to let those dreams fade, replaced by routine and the expectations of others. Stoicism doesn't advocate for seeking validation or approval from the world, but it does encourage action and self-discipline. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Do every act of your life as if it were your last." This means embracing your dreams fully, even when it's uncomfortable. Sharing your aspirations with trusted individuals creates a sense of accountability and opens doors you might not have found on your own. The next time you feel hesitant to share a dream, reflect on why. Are you protecting it, or are you protecting yourself from the vulnerability of chasing it? Silence can feel safe, but it also keeps you stagnant. Speak your dreams into existence, take action, and allow yourself the freedom to grow into the person you're meant to become. Now that we've unraveled these lessons, let me ask you something. How do they resonate with you? Think about it. Which of these ideas struck a chord? Which one made you pause and reflect on how you live your daily life? I bet at least one of them hit closer to home than you expected. Maybe it was the lesson about over-apologizing, or perhaps the one about staying silent about your dreams. Whatever it was, here's the deal. It's not enough to nod along. The real growth happens when you start applying these insights to your life. But before you go, I have a challenge for you, one that's a little different. Drop the word "mind" in the comments below. But don't stop there. Share one thing that sparked an aha moment for you today. What's one behavior you're ready to change, or one lesson you're ready to embrace? Let's turn this into a space where we can learn from each other and grow together. Your insight might be exactly what someone else needs to hear, and who knows, you might even find encouragement from others walking a similar path. And while you're down there in the comments, hit that like button if you found even one sentence here that made you think differently. That simple click isn't just for me, it's a ripple effect. It means these lessons will reach someone else who needs them, someone who might be stuck, searching for clarity, or just curious about Stoicism. Lastly, if this journey has been valuable, why not subscribe? Think of it as your way of keeping these reminders close, a little nudge to stay focused on what really matters in life. This isn't just about Stoicism. It's about building a community of thinkers, doers, and dreamers, people like you who are ready to take control of their minds and live intentionally. So, let's start here. Leave your mind below. Tell me what resonated, and let's continue this conversation. I can't wait to hear your thoughts because, believe it or not, every comment is like adding another piece to this puzzle we're all trying to solve together. Let's grow, let's learn, and let's live better, one lesson at a time.